Have you ever sat in a doctor's office, heard them say, "Your blood pressure's a little high," and just smiled politely, thinking, "It's probably just stress. It'll go down in a few days." But it doesn't work that way. High blood pressure isn't something that happens overnight. It's the result of years of quietly mistreating your own body. I've met hundreds of patients like that, people who just want their hearts to slow down a little, their heads to stop spinning when they stand up, and their blood pressure not to be the first thing they worry about every morning. And every time, I tell them the same story, the story of a handful of walnuts. In the world of nutrition, few people realize that walnuts are the heart's silent friend. Inside each small nut is a generous amount of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, the kind that soften blood vessels, keep blood flowing smoothly, calm inflammation inside the arteries, and naturally help lower blood pressure. Not through medication, but through nourishment and patience. In addition, the polyphenols and vitamin E found in walnuts help protect your cells from damage. They work to reduce levels of bad cholesterol, LDL, that silent troublemaker behind artery narrowing and strokes. I've seen patients who, after just a few months of eating walnuts daily, showed remarkable improvements in their cholesterol tests. It wasn't a miracle. It was simply the body saying thank you for being cared for. I often tell my patients this: sometimes you don't need more medicine. You just need less lack of good things. A handful of walnuts a day might not change your life overnight, but it can help your heart keep beating peacefully for many more years. I like to tell my patients, let walnuts be the gardener of your gut. Inside these little nuts are special compounds, prebiotics, that feed the good bacteria living in your digestive system. When those good microbes thrive, your gut runs smoothly, inflammation goes down, cholesterol drops, and you simply feel lighter, not just in your body, but in your mind as well. That's really what I want to share with you today. When your gut is healthy, your brain shines brighter. Recent studies show that people who eat walnuts regularly have better memory, quicker reflexes, and lower levels of inflammation throughout their body. Because the gut and the brain are deeply connected through what we call the gut-brain axis. In other words, when you take care of your gut, you're also taking care of your mind. Sometimes staying mentally sharp doesn't come from brain pills. It comes from tending to the little garden inside you, starting with something as simple as a handful of walnuts each day. I've always believed that when you nurture your gut with patience and kindness, your body will thank you with peace. So tomorrow, instead of asking, "What delicious things should I eat today?" ask yourself, "Have I nourished the garden inside me?" Have you ever noticed how your digestion changes after 50? That slight bloating in your stomach, that feeling of heaviness even when you've barely eaten, or how food just doesn't seem to sit right anymore. I understand that feeling. Most of my patients around this age tell me the same thing. "Doctor, I watch what I eat. I'm careful with everything, but I still feel tired and weighed down." What most people don't realize is your digestive system is like a garden. When you're young, that garden is lush and full of life, rich soil, plenty of good bacteria. But as we grow older, the soil in that garden starts to lose its nutrients, and those friendly bacteria, the ones that help you digest, absorb nutrients, and protect your body, begin to weaken. And that's when problems start to show up: bloating, constipation, fatigue, even a weaker immune system. Because more than 70% of your body's immunity lives right there, inside your gut. Have you ever noticed how your digestion changes after 50? That slight bloating in your stomach, that feeling of heaviness even when you've bare. I remember an old gentleman named Joseph, 74 years old, who used to struggle with bloating and indigestion. He wasn't too convinced when I told him to add a handful of walnuts to his daily routine. 3 months later, he came back grinning and said, "Doc, I don't know what those little nuts are doing in my belly, but I feel better, and I'm sleeping like a baby." I laughed and told him, "It's simple. When your gut is happy, your whole body feels happy too." And that's exactly what I want to share with you today.